Okay, so today we're going to learn about constructivism, which is the theory that says that basically students learn better from experiences, that if the teacher involves the kids in the learning process and not just basically stand up in front of the classroom and dictate, the kids are going to learn better. So we're going to learn this based on a story. And my story starts with Mr. Posey decides that he wants to teach the students about the environment and how energy affects the environment specifically. So this is the problem that Mr. Posey is going to present to the class about how do you think energy affects our environment. So he decides that he's going to take the class around the neighborhood, and he wants them to start taking notes of the houses and what are the similarities between the houses and what are the differences. So now already the things are different, and the students are going to be more excited because they're not just sitting at a desk. They're actually going outside on a little field trip. So that already is going to catch the attention of the students. And so they go back to class and they start to communicating with each other, and they start to discuss what were the differences and the similarities, and they talk about what they saw. And one student in particular says that, oh, I saw panels on top of one of the houses, on some of the houses, which gets Mr. Posey really excited because that's what he wanted them to notice, which he told them, well, these are solar panels. And what solar panels do is use the sun in order to produce electricity. And he explains to them what are the benefits and everything. And then he goes and throws them a question of, why don't you think more people use this if this is an option? And that's the critical thinking. Now the students are going to start to use their knowledge and figure out, well, why isn't this something that they use? And the class comes with several answers. Maybe the cost, maybe it's too expensive to get the solar panels, or maybe there's not real difference if you use solar panels or not. So that's the critical thinking, and that's the communication part of constructivism. It's not just, again, the teacher talking to them, but it's the students talking to each other. And then Mr. Posey now goes to the prior knowledge of the students, and he says, hey, do you guys know of any other ways that energy is produced? And one of the students says, well, I remember that there was these really big fans one time that I saw. And he tells them, oh yeah, that wind is another way to produce energy. And now the students are teaching each other. It's not just the teacher. So again, constructivism is still working at that. Now Mr. Posey basically goes to the lecturing part and starts to talk about what is the energies that are being used: natural petroleum gas, coal, nuclear energy, and again, which is the other options, which is clean energy, like the solar panels and the wind. And he starts to tell them again the benefits and the other and the downsides of it. So he wants now to throw the question to the class and say, well, which one do you think is better now that you know of the both and what they do, and what do you think we should do as a society? And now that's the problem solving. Now that's where the teacher has presented a problem, and now he wants them to solve it amongst each other. So he opens up the question to them, and they start to communicate. And essentially, as a class, they decided, well, the cleaner version is much better for the environment. And at the end, it was the kids teaching each other, and it was the kids collaborating with each other and communicating with each other that led them to a solution. And it wasn't just the teacher, which is, again, what constructivism is. Based on an experience that they have, they are able to learn better now. Instead of them sitting inside of a classroom, they're now going to always remember that time that Mr. Posey took them outside and decided to teach them about clean energy that way. And that's what constructivism is using your experiences to learn something. So, yeah.